Welcome, everyone, to the final session of this year's Family Support Symposium. We've had some really great speakers this year, and I'm very grateful to them and all of the great information they shared and the time that they've given to us. We really couldn't do it without them. So before I get into my presentation, I wanted to share a bit about myself. My name is Rachel Golightly, and I work at the National Center on Shaken Baby Syndrome as their Information and Research Specialist. In this role, I provide resources and information to people who reach out for help and support. I also maintain the National Center's library database of all the current research regarding shaken baby syndrome and abusive head trauma. And I also track all of the publicly reported cases to see what places may need more support. So today I want to tell you about some organizations and resources across the nation that might be helpful to you or someone you know who is dealing with the aftermath of abuse. So first, I just wanted to say that no case is going to be exactly the same, and accordingly, the appropriate response and resources will vary. The circumstances surrounding the event have a big impact on what actions are necessary, so that includes things like who is the perpetrator, who is present, where it occurred, and why, and what evidence is available, and so on. It also will change depending on family dynamics and the outcome of the child, whether they survive the abuse, and what short and long-term care and support they might need. The investigation process may look different as well and can involve police or criminal investigative professionals or child protection services. The legal proceedings and timeline may vary widely in each case also. This could depend on state laws, investigators, available evidence, the timeline of medical and criminal investigations, and so on. And of course, the process of grief itself is individual, and that process looks very different for each individual. So just after the incident, a hospital social worker is a great resource that can help families navigate immediate needs. Hospital social workers are provided by the hospital to help families navigate different aspects of their child's case. They help guide families through medical fears and are an advocate for the patient. They offer supportive counseling to families and help navigate any family conflicts that may arise. They're also a liaison between families of the patient and the medical team, and they can help make referrals to local resources such as support groups. So what are some immediate resource needs if the child has fatal injuries? Funeral needs is a big one. The funeral costs, many young families may not be able to afford the high costs that can be associated with funerals. Grief counseling is another need. After enduring the trauma of losing a child and all of the events surrounding it, grief counseling can help parents and family members understand and deal with their emotions. Something else to be aware of is the fact that families who lose a child will have to wait for autopsy results and deal with an investigation, which can take a lot of time and be very stressful. Dealing with court proceedings is also a long and stressful process, which can be emotionally exhausting. Families of victims may need help securing legal advocates and navigating the court. Families may also have to deal with child protective services, which can be equally emotionally devastating. Seeking legal counsel or professional organizations or counseling and support can help families who are dealing with a CPS investigation. So, what to expect? Emotional trauma is a common element for nearly every victim. Some traumas you never get over, but you can learn ways to cope. The US system of justice is not a speedy process also. So from before the investigation to prosecution to incarceration of a perpetrator, the justice system can seem slow at nearly every level. This commonly surprises victims who expect swift justice, but it can take months or years for the investigation to be complete and go to court. It is typical also for victims to experience secondary trauma, which we touched a little bit on earlier. Some people around you will also just not understand your struggle and frustration. This can include family and close friends. It's helpful for some victims to find others like them for support and understanding. So one thing you could do is join a Facebook support group or a local support group.
So what can the National Center do to help? So you can contact us through email or give us a call. This is my number on there and my phone number extension and my email. We can provide accurate information on shaken baby syndrome and abusive head trauma and provide relevant and recent research. We can help you find resources in your area as well. This can include finding support groups, legal help, counselors near you, organizations for your child, such as behavioral therapists, assistance programs, or housing. I even helped one mother find a dentist who would work with her adult survivor who had special needs surrounding the type of dental care she needed. So nothing is too out there. Just contact me and we'll see what we can find in your area. Or if you just need somebody to vent to or talk to, I would love to talk to you. I'm not a licensed counselor or anything like that by any means, but if you just need a listening ear, just call me up. I'm always here to listen. So we have a website with family resources on there if you want to check it out. Just go to our website, don'tshake.org, and then come up here to family resources. So we've got a few of these resources that I'll go over in the presentation, but I definitely haven't listed all of them. So if you want to check it out, just go there. We also have resources listed state by state on our state map here. So if you want to go through the map and click on your state, you'll find resources that are more local to you. Now I want to share a few organizations that deal with victims of a crime. The first one is the National Organization of Parents of Murdered Children. They have chapters in many states across the United States, and they provide grief counseling and online support or advice. On their team responding to these emails, you see here the National POMC at pomc.org if you email that. They have several professionals who can help answer your questions. For example, they have attorneys and prosecutors, bereavement specialists, forensic scientists, homicide detectives, judges, crime rights specialists, funeral directors, medical directors, and even a newspaper editor. So they'll be able to answer a lot of different kinds of questions and provide expert advice for a lot of different challenges that arise as you navigate both the grief of losing a child along with medical or legal and funeral processes. So they're a great resource for information. They also provide advocacy and accompaniment for parents of victims and services for siblings of victims, including advice for parents on how to address and navigate surviving a sibling's grief. Those are some articles on their website. If you just search, they've got a lot of different articles. They also have what's called their VINE program. VINE stands for Victim Information and Notification Every Day, and this program assists crime victims by providing a 24-hour victim information hotline, which provides information on cases in inmate custody. VINE works with several participating agencies and can be used in more than 650 counties across the country. So it's likely it might work where you're at. And to use VINE, you must register, but the registration is anonymous. The VINE number is 1-800-865-4314. And again, I'll be sending all of these links and numbers to you guys' emails afterwards. This organization also hosts a grief weekend for adults that have survived a family member's homicide. So this is just a retreat where people join together in their grief to work through their emotions and share their experiences and learn how to live their new life after dealing with murder. This year's grief weekend date and location has not been announced on their website yet. So if that is something you're interested in, just keep checking their website. In 2024, they hosted one in October in Cincinnati. So on the Parents of Murdered Children's website, they also provide a list to links and other resources if you want to check that out. The next resource I wanted to share with you was the Department of Justice for Victims of a Crime. The Department of Justice for Victims of a Crime has a website where they offer a directory of victim services throughout the country. You just search for it on their crime victim map. They also offer victims assistance and compensation program. Their OVC Connect directory is also a fast and easy way to locate services in your area, allowing you to locate providers specializing in many areas in a wide range of jurisdictions. The directory is user-friendly and allows you to just find any of those services easily. The next resource I wanted to share with you was the National Center for Victims of a Crime. They have a Victim Connect Resource Center, which is a place for crime victims to learn about their rights and their options. It's confidential and compassionate. The Connect directory provides a fast and easy way for victims to locate service providers which specialize in specific areas of victimization and have a wide variety of jurisdictions. The Get Help bulletins provide information on a wide range of topics, including impact of crime, victims' rights, and the criminal and civil justice processes. They also provide resources for victims, their families, and friends, and have a resource library. The NCVBA is a network of attorneys and allied professionals dedicated to facilitating civil rights brought on by crime victims. And again, there's their website if you want to check them out. So, crime victim rights. Everyone should know their rights. You have the right to be notified of all court proceedings, the right to be protected from the offender, the right to have input at a sentencing and have a victim impact statement, the right to info about the offender, and restitution. So if you want any more information, go to this website. They'll list all of your rights and learn more about them. Another resource is the National Center for Victim Advocacy. They're Virginia-based, and they do legislative advocacy for victims' rights and direct victim support. They have a national crisis response team and a hotline, the 1-800-TRI-NOVA that you can call. They offer professional resources as well, such as training and credentials and conferences for anybody who is in a profession where you're trying to help support families. All right, so the next thing I wanted to go into was some bereavement resources for grieving individuals. The first one is the Compassionate Friends. They support family members who have lost a child. They have support groups, they have local chapters, and also an online support community and private Facebook groups that you can join. They offer grief resource materials, including a funeral service provider resource page. They also offer sibling support, such as articles about sibling grief and online support. The next one is the Tears Foundation. So the Tears Foundation was founded by Sarah Slack after her own personal tragedy of losing her son, Jesse. She had to sell her belongings in a garage sale in order to raise enough money for his headstone. So now the Tears Foundation offers financial and emotional support for families dealing with loss. This includes the Charlie and Braden Assistance Program, which offers funeral assistance to grieving families of children between 1 and 12 years old who have died from external causes. They also have the Luca John Fund, which provides funeral assistance for babies ages 20 weeks to 1 year old. And they also do, Angel Monuments, which is for young infants or stillborn children who have died. The next resource is Charlie's Guys. So they offer grief services for children who have lost a sibling in their lifetime. That's children 18 and younger. And what they do is they provide a special gift or an experience to help through their grief journey. On their website, you'll find a referral form. Anybody can refer somebody. It can be their parent, a friend, another family member, even the child themselves. You just go in and fill out that referral form, and they may provide an experience or a gift for that grieving child. Next, I want to go into some disability resource organizations. The first one I want to share with you is the Brain Injury Association. So they are a nationwide network of chartered state affiliates that provide direct support, information, resources, education, and advocacy for individuals living with a brain injury, and their friends and family and professionals who provide research, treatment, and services, and to the general public. They also have support groups listed on their website, and they provide information on social service programs and Medicaid waivers and articles about traumatic brain injuries. The next one is the ARC. They promote and protect the human rights of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They have chapters across the US that offer supports and services that are personalized to meet the needs of the individual and encompass all stages of life. So to find a program near you, contact your local chapter, or you can find that through their website here. They also do individual advocacy to address education, employment, healthcare, and other concerns. Depending on the area, they also have leisure recreational programs that they host, um, employment programs, family support, and residential housing. The next resource is 211, which is available throughout the US and in many parts of Canada. This connects you to a community resource specialist in your area who can help you find services and resources that are available to you locally and provide critical services that can improve and save lives. 211 is committed to being the first most essential resource to anyone who needs help. They are accessible 24/7, all languages. It's completely confidential, and they are partners with United Way. They have support groups for mental illness and special needs as well. The next resource I just wanted to make you aware of is TSA Cares. This is for anybody who is planning to travel on a plane with someone with a disability, or if you're disabled yourself. What they are is they have information on how to navigate the airport, maybe with a mobility device such as a wheelchair or a cane, or if you have another disability or medical equipment. They provide information on how to go through security and everything like that to make sure that you're aware how to do it, and it hopefully will reduce the stress of traveling. They also offer passenger support specialists. I believe, though, if you do need like a wheelchair service, you still should contact your specific airline to provide that. But this is more of just information beforehand, so that stress of going to the airport is hopefully a little bit mitigated. Another resource is Magic Wheelchair. This one's a bit more fun. It's a nonprofit organization that builds costumes for children in wheelchairs at no cost to families. You can apply on their website. If you have a child with a wheelchair between 5 and 17, they take about 8 weeks to build. It's a lot of volunteers building these, so also if you want to be a part of it, you can apply to join. I just wanted to include some of the pictures because they are so cute and they do such a good job. They have actually so many pictures on their website if you want to go and check it out. But it's just a really fun service that they offer to kids with wheelchairs. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. All right. Another one I wanted to share with you is SibTeen. This is a private Facebook group with teenagers with siblings who have disabilities or special needs. As we've talked about before, siblings who have, or people with siblings who have disabilities are oftentimes, can be affected by that negatively mental health. So this is just a space where they can join with other people who may have gone through similar things and talk about it in a space that won't be judgmental. They were created in 2011, and right now they have around 671 members. So if that's something you're interested in joining, reach out to their Facebook group. Another resource I would like to share with you is the Council for Exceptional Children. They advocate for governmental policies and have professional standards for children regarding the education of children with disabilities. They offer professional trainings. So this is more of a resource, again, for somebody who's in that professional field of helping families and children. And they also support and create special education legislation. Okay, now I want to share with you a few organizations that are specific to shaken baby syndrome. The first one is the Shaken Baby Alliance. They are located in Fort Worth, Texas. They offer services to families, including peer-to-peer support programs to provide emotional support during difficult times. They also provide education about the specific injuries sustained by the child to the family. They educate about the long-term effects resulting from the abuse. They also walk families through the maze of services, and they assist in determining the needs of their child and accessing those services. They provide a full range of forensic investigative training programs for professionals, including law enforcement, child protection, medical practitioners, first responders, and legal professionals. They also do case consultation. They provide services upon request related to investigative and legal professionals involved in child abuse cases. Their services include case analysis, technical support with crime scene investigation, interviews, timelines, visual aids, and expert witness recommendations. All of their case consults have resulted in successful legal outcomes. They also provide an education program called When Babies Cry, We Cope, which targets young parents, premature babies, unstable family situations, low socioeconomic status, and uneducated child care providers by providing this education and resources to nursing staff to share with new parents in the hospital. Middle and high school students can benefit from the curriculum as well. The next one is Hope for Shaken Baby, Inc. They raise awareness and prevention of shaken baby syndrome and child abuse. They educate the public and school-aged children about shaken baby syndrome and child abuse as well. They also work with other organizations that are already in place and give support. They help to get stricter laws passed in all states, and they are a voice for our children. They give support and assistance to children and families of shaken baby syndrome and child abuse by providing items of comfort for the child, like a toy or game, gift cards for food and gas for the parents, etc. To give to these families or children, to give these children and families a support system to the extent of providing an ear to listen, a hand to hold, a hug to reassure. Stop Shaken Baby Syndrome, Inc. is the next one. They are a group of survivors and families who raise awareness on shaken baby syndrome, educate the public, and help support families through fundraising. They have been a great ally to our organization in the past as well. They also have a Facebook page and use it as a platform for shaken baby syndrome and abusive head trauma victims and families to communicate and to find support. The next one is Lola's Hope, Inc. It's a nonprofit organization founded by families impacted by shaken baby syndrome and abusive head trauma. Lola's Hope provides support to victims, families, and works to prevent shaken baby syndrome through education and awareness efforts. The mission of Lola's Hope is to support families impacted by shaken baby syndrome and to prevent shaken baby syndrome through education, awareness, and community outreach. Speaking and providing education to groups such as the Milwaukee Center for Independence, Smart Baby Program for expectant moms. They also provide shaken baby friends from training in local high schools, which meets requirements set forth by Wisconsin law, and shaken baby syndrome training to child care providers, which also meets the requirements set forth by Wisconsin law. They present at conferences, including our International Conference on Shaken Baby Syndrome. They presented in Denver in 2014 and in Montreal in 2016, and the WECA Annual Child Care Conference and the Child Care Appreciation Dinner. Distributing educational materials and raising awareness at fairs is also something that they do. So they do it at fairs, parades, and community events. They also host events such as trunk or treats and bowling for babes. And they work with victim witness and assistance programs to establish a monthly shaken baby syndrome support group, which is facilitated by a licensed clinical and social worker, which was the first of the kind in its state. They also accompany families of victims to court proceedings and host events to foster family networking and give families an often much needed opportunity for socialization or a sense of normalcy. They also host online awareness efforts and family support, so they do a lot of things. The next one, it's a newer organization. It's called Never Shake Minnesota. They are Minnesota-based. They were founded by Crystal and Brendan McNally, and because their son was actually shaken when he was 6 months old and survived. So they started this nonprofit to aid other families who have been affected by shaken baby syndrome. They do offer financial assistance, but just for families who have received care from a hospital in Minnesota. But on their website, they also have a list of resources that are more applicable to anybody across. the country. So if you did want to visit their website, they do have a list of great resources. But if this does apply to you and you're in Minnesota and have received care from a trauma hospital, they will fund um, they will fund a lot of things, but you do have to be in Minnesota for that one. All right, the next one is Reagan's Rescue. This nonprofit organization was founded by the Williams family, who lost their own sweet baby Reagan to shaken baby syndrome. And their organization is a charity which aims to bring awareness to education on shaken baby syndrome. And then we already heard about the Maddie Eapen Foundation earlier, but in case you missed it, they financially support survivors and victims' families. They also support other SBS-focused organizations, including the National Center on Shaken Baby Syndrome and this symposium. They offer college scholarships to siblings of victims of shaken baby syndrome and to families and survivors to attend conferences, and they spread awareness on shaken baby syndrome. The Blue Ribbon Initiative Advocacy Group is a place for those affected by shaken baby syndrome to find a community and support. They advocate for justice for the victim and families, as well as pushing for a nationwide child abuse registry. Okay, Stop SBS has an SBS support group, which is a private invite or by request only group that only is for families or individuals affected by shaken baby syndrome and abusive head trauma. It's a place where they can come together and easily communicate with others who have been through the same type of trauma. They can seek support and understanding and get help from others who have been through the same medical, legal, and emotional situations that we go through. So they don't share anything publicly. And if you want to be a part of this, you do have to go and request to be a part of it. You will be removed from the group by an admin if you are found to not be a part of this community, or if you're acting threatening or anything like that. So they try and keep it a very community-based, safe place for members. Then we have another version of the same group, has one just for the families of angels. So similar, but if you have a child who was shaken and died, this is a more specific group. It's a smaller group run by the same people. Another support group that you might be interested in is grandparents of shaken baby syndrome victims. This is also another private group that has about 200 members. It's for grandparents of both survivors and angels. Again, you just message them to join private group on Facebook. And then we also just barely have created our own support network. What it is it's a Slack chat, which if you don't know what Slack is, it's an app where you can have messaging in different channels. If you want to join, contact us. Either email me or our mail at don'tshake.org. We'll send you a member request form that you fill out and just have you review our user agreement. We have different chats in there. We discuss upcoming events. We provide resources, talk about advocacy. We provide a supportive community and just a safe space for you to talk with other people. In this group, we are inviting individuals themselves who have been shaken or their family members, or also some supportive roles. Alrighty, and then I added a few parenting resources in here. This one's for moms. If you're having a hard time, the National Maternal Mental Health Hotline is there for you. That's 1-833-TLC-MAMA. It's free, it's confidential, and it's 24/7 text or call. If you are having trouble finding childcare, this is a good resource. So it's childcare.gov. They offer resources and information for parents and how to find a good childcare center, and also how to report childcare concerns. So this depends on your area, but a lot of states and places offer free respite care. So it often has limited hours a week. Like I know a lot of ones around here, you can drop them off for a couple hours 3 times a week if you call ahead, and it's a free service. Sometimes it depends on who you are. Like some of them are foster care parents only, some of them are like parents looking for jobs, some of them is anybody. So it depends on your area. If you are looking for or wanting to find a free respite care center in your area and you're having a hard time, just reach out to me and I'll help you try and find something in your area. And so what these are is you drop them off for a few hours, they watch them, have play areas, some of them have different learning. It really just depends on the care center. Some of them you can stay there and have like a little rest room. So it's just worth looking into if you're having a really hard time and you just need to drop your child off somewhere for a little while. All right, so those are a lot of resources. We often have people reaching out to us asking how they can get involved. One thing that you can do is push for Shaken Baby Syndrome curriculum in your school area if it's not there already. We have a school-based curriculum that we've created. We're giving it for free in Utah, but also providing it to other areas if they're interested in it. That'll just provide, we've got content in there, we've got videos. So if you want to push for that in your area, if it's not there, you can also raise awareness on your own, and support anti-abuse legislation in your area. You can also volunteer at some of our events. We have one coming up in our area where we're just going to have people at a booth handing out information about Shaken Baby Syndrome. So if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to us. We're also looking at other options, not local to us to help volunteer. You can donate, donate to any of these organizations that I've listed. You can donate to us. Before you drop your kid off at childcare, screen childcare providers, make sure that they're licensed, make sure that they're safe, and you can report abuse. Another thing you can do is just be helpful in your community. If you have neighbors who are parents of young kids, offer to help out, offer to get their groceries. The best thing to do is to prevent something before it happens. And again, if you have any questions or need additional resources, there is my email and the center's email. I monitor them both, or you can call me at that number and my extension. I will be sending all of this out again through email. And believe that all babies can be safe from harm. We do. All right, that is all that I have for everyone. The chat was not popping up for me, so let me see if we have any questions here.
Were you able to see that, Rachel? We don't have any questions so far, but we can wait a second to see if any come through.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, and if not, then we can end a little early, but I'm happy to answer any questions now or through email. And again, I'll be sending out all of the resources from this symposium to everybody. Well, okay, if there are no questions, then that is the end of our symposium. I just wanted to thank you all so much for coming. We really want to support you as much as possible, and we appreciate your support in turn.